So are you opening this time?
I
I
guess.
time.
It's Chatmen. Talk about,
Things, stuff, tell stories sometimes, like today.
That's a horrible intro. Let's do
No.
it.
Okay. Hey,
Hey!
guys. Whoa. Well, it's nice seeing you around here. We just happen to have these stories pulled up. You want to hear them? Because you got them. Can
Yeah.
listen to them if you want.
Y'all lucked out. We were gonna do stories on the next episode. Then we thought, hey, let's
Why
just
not?
do them.
It's just tell them early.
Let's just do them.
Yeah, we got them.
So,
Kinda. I finished mine today, but I
yeah.
had something planned out this time, so it should be good. Should be good.
I'm gonna lovingly throw Phil under the bus. We're recording Sunday, because apparently Phil can't write a story fast enough.
What? Oh, well, I thought we record on Sundays sometimes. We record on Saturdays, Sundays, Fridays, whatever we feel like doing. And normally on the story episodes, we've been recording on Sundays.
I wonder why.
That's because I gotta finish mine.
Because Phil's creative process is very detailed and long.
Let me just tell you something.
He's got to get it perfect.
What motivates me most is last minute panic. That's when all my real creative juices start flowing. I'm able to throw down the most articulate and creative, original, beautiful bullshit, and just slap it down on the paper and present it to my teachers and friends and sort of fans.
All 10 of you, or whatever.
All.
We're talking to Hayden.
I like how all just Hayden.
Yeah.
Shout out to Hayden.
Also Kendall, probably.
Sometimes.
Love you, man.
Love you guys.
Love all y'all.
You just sound like this freaking YouTube people who are like, thanks guys, and they have like what? I don't know.
We just got to develop a name for our fans, because then we'll be an official YouTube personality.
Yeah, like bros.
Hey, bros.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that. You know who I'm referencing?
No.
It's a PewDiePie.
Oh.
That's the YouTube guy who calls his fans bros. Isn't that cool? Not
sure.
particularly. No. I don't think so.
Salutations, my beautiful people. Greetings and salutations, my
Who says
people.
that?
It's Kadikarus.
Oh, yeah. All right,
But anyway,
well,
we're not them. We're us. We're the Chatmen. I'm Truman.
Yeah, I'm Phil. I think we should call them friends.
Hey, friends.
Hey, friends.
Hey, pals.
Pals, buddies, buckaroos.
We
got stories
on what you want us to call you.
All right, so we got stories. You know, as you know, Truman's got fantasy on, and I got science fiction fantasy. Not really science fiction, just kind of more spacey oriented rather than legends and English myths. Huh?
You don't even know about legends.
Let me talk to you about something.
Yeah.
What is it called when things are based in like European, like Dungeons and Dragons, Lord of the Rings, sort of that sort of fantasy? Every time somebody says that's understood as fantasy, but there's got to be some sort of specific. What's it about that?
It's Gygaxian. That's what it is.
Are you serious?
No.
Oh well, that's the coolest sounding thing I've ever fucking heard.
Gary Gygax is the creator of Dungeons and Dragons. That's why I called it Gygaxian.
That's still really cool sounding.
So Phil, let me hear your story. Let me hear it.
All right.
Let me hear the beautiful words that you painstakingly wrote on paper.
Let me tell you. The first part of this story, I meant to go back and change.
Oh yeah. Just change it on the fly. Just change it while you're.
I meant to go back and change it because it was just terribly written. I was just putting down ideas at this point, and I forgot. until I just read it like a little bit before we started recording, and I was like, oh shit. But it gets good at the end because
it's gonna be like olden days when they pass stories by word.
And they kept forgetting.
Yeah, so they just made it up.
The punchlines, yeah. So they just kind of like added some other stuff and
you think Homer remembered how the Odyssey went? No, he just made it up every time.
Every single time. And there was times somebody just happened to be writing it.
And then he's like, that was it. That was the official one.
Yeah. And other people were like, no.
It's like, where's the part with Burger King? I was like, well, that was not the original. I mean,
it was.
I embellished it a little bit, but no, this is the official one right here on paper. We called
it Hydra instead of Burger King.
Yeah, the Burger King.
Hydra.
Anyway. This week, sponsored by Burger King.
and cherry Pepsi.
Nah, I actually have Best Choice Kiwi Strawberry.
That's and I have tea that was made by my dad.
Oh, thanks, Dad.
Tea made by my dad.
Behind the scenes.
Literally like 2 milliliters of tea by my dad. Go buy you some from him. Actually, you could just come to my fridge and have some. So here's the story that starts bad.
Okay, let's hear it.
Oh, you remember where the last one left off, right?
No, give me a recap.
Okay, so in the last one,
brief recap.
Okay, yeah. So if you remember Chadwick's story in episode 5, ours, he indirectly is the cause of the Earth explosion.
Yeah.
Meteor hitting the Earth because that he could have exploded with his wham ass, his winged and massive spaceship. But he didn't. Because he didn't feel like it. He's just like, oh, I got a spaceship. I can go to space now. So he did. Desmond, he was a guy who he has a voice in his head that kind of tells him a little bit of things in the future that he needs to know to ensure his survival. I haven't explained it yet, but I'm fixing to in a later story. It's going to be a long process, but anyway.
Okay.
So he just has a mysterious voice that tells him certain things or whatever, and his story's not as good as Chadwick's was, I think, since his was more rushed than Chadwick's. Literally threw his together in like a couple hours or something. But he goes to Mars. He's almost eaten alive by a plant monster or whatever that the Martians, a Venusian human trap that the Martians get their foodstuffs from in the garden, because the Martians are vegetarians. I established in this story. I shouldn't have said that. Should have said that later. But anyway, they want they capture his bird, his space eagle, Hawking.
Yeah.
And Chadwick frees his space eagle, Hawking, and they both escape from the Martian Empire with King Dalmatian screaming at him that I'll get you next time. And they and just then Chadwick from the first story lands in the middle of the street with Hawking and what's his name, Desmond, getting into the spaceship. So anyway, this picks up right then. I said to be continued because I needed some sort of ending. It was a shitty ending. This one actually has a conclusion. Let's go.
All right.
What are you doing aboard my wham ass? Chadwick shouted as Desmond and his majestic, shrieking space eagle barged into his spaceship. There's no time to explain. Prince Cocker Spaniel, King Dalmatian, they're after us. We gotta get out of here, Desmond cried. He brutally shoved Chadwick out of his seat and started hammering at the controls. He did not really know how to pilot the ship, but he did see a big red go to space button on the dashboard, so he slapped it.
Yeah.
The hatch shut before the ship rocketed out of Mars's atmosphere. What the heck is going on here? Chad spat. I don't really know. Earth blew up. Marsmen apparently hate Earth people for some reason. All of Mars civilization is a monarchy ruled by a kingdom that names the royal family members after ancient species of cats or something. I'm just as lost as you.
Yeah.
Just, he doesn't know that Dalmatians and Cocker Spaniels are dogs and not cats, because there are no dogs and cats, really. I came here looking for help, but all I got was some stuff about me being an Earth fag and them wanting my bird. Chadwick decided to not land on Mars. You're from Earth, right? Desmond shouted. You need to get the fuck out of here. Chadwick stammered. How did you... I think you know where I'm going.
Yeah, I get the joke.
Chadwick stammered. How did you know I was... Get out of here, Desmond cried. Chadwick scrambled at the controls and tapped some buttons. Go! Chadwick paused for a second. There's no need for this right now. Get out of here, you bitch! Get out of here! Chadwick stopped. You're being a real jerk right now. Suddenly there was a loud crash and the ship jerked. God, I knew it. Desmond rubbed his head. Sorry, they've got us tracked now. That's what I was trying to warn you about. A transmission showed up on the screen. It showed the face of King Dalmatian the 36th, and he said, We've got you now, Desmond. You really should tell me how you know my name. Your ship has been marked with an invisible transmitter, Dalmatian giggled. And don't you bother looking for it, because it's invisible.
No.
He giggled again. 2 giggles in one sentence was enough to piss Chadwick off in and of itself, but what irked him even more was the fact that Dalmatian just referred to his beautiful wham-ass as Desmond's, so he shouted, Hey, this is my ship, not his. Dalmatian looked at him. I don't know who you are, but congratulations, you've got a bounty as well. $1 million to the person who kills the dusty man in the trench coat. Damn, that's totally not fair. Chadwick looked at Desmond. He looked back at the king on the transmitter thing. That's a
It's one of those just bullet point
word
notes.
that I didn't put on this. Yes. What if I give him to you? Oh, you dick, Desmond said. Hawking the Space Eagle leered at Chadwick. Dalmatian giggled. Totally not necessary. We already have you. We have your signal. No matter where you go in the galaxy, there will always be people after you. He giggled again. And when they get you, they'll bring you to me, and I'll give you a beating you soon won't forget. He rolled his sleeves up and flexed his wiry muscles, and then he popped each of his fingers one by one. So is there any advice you can give us that may or may not prolong our life? Desmond asked. Nice finger popping, Truman. Dalmatian giggled. Run, Chadwick, run far away and never come back. And the transmission ended. How the hell did he know my name? Chadwick asked himself quietly before turning halfway towards his guests, avoiding eye contact.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
Didn't he just say, like, we've got you now? And then he said, run away!
Yep.
Okay.
He's like, he's just like, yeah, you can run. We'll still get you no matter where you go in the galaxy. You've got the transmitter, all that stuff. He's just letting them know that if they want to prolong their life, they can try and run. He's gonna get them no matter what.
Okay.
So that's what he's saying. So he's just excited. Okay, so then Chadwick turns toward after trying to sell them out and being told, nope, you're dead too, by the king or whatever. He turns towards his new guests, avoiding eye contact, and says, well, looks like I won't be turning you in for the safety of my own life after all, without looking at them. Let's get out of here. He slapped some keys and off they went, away from Mars. So, we have a few options here, Desmond said. I think the only human civilization left in our solar system is Europa, Titan, and Venus, since Earth is gone now.
Whoa, good astrology knowledge there, Phil.
Yeah. So yeah, Titan is a moon of Saturn, and Europa is a moon of Jupiter. And I'm just gonna this is real life. I'm not reading from the story right now. Those are the planets that, well, Titan and Europa at least are the planets that have the most water on them. So that would make sense. That'd be where we colonize. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's just a side note.
Fact.
I like how you said astrology, by the way, and not astronomy.
I'm gonna act like I did that on purpose, but that was an accident.
Okay. All right. Since Earth is gone and Mars is a racist monarchy and we shouldn't land there, let's go to Venus, Chadwick said. I hear there's a lot of hot chicks there. Hawking crowed. Get it? Chadwick said. See, that joke's a twofer because it's the closest planet to the sun, and also Venus is the fictional god of hot chicks. Oh, okay, Desmond didn't bring up Mercury. It just wasn't worth the time. Chadwick cranked up the speed into hyperdrive, and they shot out like a comet toward their next destination, Venus. I'll paint a picture of Venus for you. Yellow skies, dense green jungles, and super intense rainfall. Venus is home of millions of different species of plants, several of which are carnivorous and occasionally eat people. That's a reference to the Venusian human trap in our episode 10.
Did you write that?
The second story. Yes, I wrote that.
Okay.
Several of which are carnivorous and occasionally eat people. I already read that. It is the home of several different kinds of giant arthropods, reptiles, and motherfucking dinosaurs. Yes, where there aren't jungles, there are massive 35-foot-long tyrannosauri and hundreds of feet-long brachiosauri just romping about. And when it comes to survival on Venus, you gotta make sure you pack an extra pack of crap. When it comes to survival on Venus, you gotta make sure you pack an extra pack of anti-venom, antibiotics, antihistamines, and antidepressants, because, man, the hot humidity and hairy, scary situations is bound to get you depressed. That's why you need your antidepressants. Sorry for the F-bombs again earlier. I said motherfucking dinosaurs, but Venus is a vulgar place, and that's why they call it Venus.
Ah.
The spaceship landed... Huh?
I like that recurring theme.
Yep.
It was a vulgar place.
Mars. That's why they call it Mars. And, and that was like an unconfident, I just kind of said that. That wasn't in the story last time, but it's in the story this time. Okay. So here we go. The spaceship landed in a clearing of the jungle, and the bottom hatch opened, and the ramp extended as Desmond, Chadwick, and Hawking descended it. I'm going to get a drink here. Dad's tea.
Get you some.
Get you some. Now it's going to be a bit difficult to find people here, Desmond said as he slashed a branch with his plasma machete. He has a plasma machete.
That sounds awesome.
It's a machete that has plasma on it. When you flick a switch, it's like a lightsaber.
Does it line the blade, or is it the whole blade?
It lines the blade.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's just plasma on the outside of the metal. Anyway. Because people build their civilizations under the trees where the dinosaurs won't see them, it's going to be difficult to find people here. Dinosaurs! Chadwick's eyes glistened. Desmond led the way, his space eagle trotting behind him. Yeah, we're fucking dead if we leave these dense jungles. The only drawback is that we have to deal with the smaller issues. Like what? Chadwick followed, observing all the strange plant life around him. Like bugs, diseases, and poisonous plants. A giant dragonfly buzzed over their heads, temporarily distracting their attention. Attracting their attention, distracting them. That's a weird sentence. Chadwick stepped on something squishy and looked down to see a rather large, not earthworm, squirming about. Sick! Freaking gross! He stomped at it till it was dead. I hate worms. Des slashed vines and shit. Sliced vines and shit with his radiant blade. Jesus. I know they're gross, but they play an important role to the ecosystems, being decomposers and that. Chadwick stomped at it one last time before catching up. They killed my parents. Desmond didn't really know what to say, so he just continued hacking and slashing at the vines, making his way deeper into the dense rainforest in search of human civilization.
Did you hear that car alarm?
No, I didn't.
There was a car alarm.
I just saw you turn your head and squint your eyes. And...
It only honked 3 times. We'll see if that gets picked up at all.
All right.
Yeah. Well, sorry.
Unfamiliar animal life could be heard cawing, roaring, shrieking, mooing, all the distant animal noises all around them as they continued deeper into the heart of the jungle. Eventually, though, they came across a sign of intelligent life, a road. Not just any road, but a cobblestone road, out in the clearing, which meant that some serious survivors spent the time out in the open to craft a road that led straight into their civilization to aid those who may get lost in the woods. How convenient. Chad, Des, and Hawking followed the road that led them to the entrance of a cave. Chadwick started to step in, but Desmond stopped him. Hold on a second. They held on a second. A velociraptor and a giant tarantula popped out of the cave, screaming and cackling. Chadwick screamed, "Holy jeez!" before the tarantula tackled him and wrapped him in a web. The velociraptor lunged at Desmond, but luckily it was not a Jurassic Park velociraptor. It was a real, normal-sized velociraptor, the size and featheriness of a turkey. Hawking, being about the size of a Jurassic Park velociraptor, let out a shriek, and the velociraptor used its feathery arms, to do a graceful U-turn and promptly scurry back into the cave.
Phil, I want to let you know that I am enjoying the story, Not only because it's a good story, but also because I'm learning something about dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. And what was the thing earlier? Titan, Europa, that stuffs.
Yeah.
The planets.
Astrology.
Moons. Astrology. Dinosaurs. Get you some. Dad's homemade iced tea. All right. The noise also frightened the spider, which crawled up a nearby tree. 2 humanoids stepped outside the cave. Sorry, they said. Yeah, man, we thought you were like food or something, said the incredibly baked dude on the left, with a whole clove of mercury juana in his left hand. Man, I am so high right now. The velociraptor returned and churned, hiding behind the legs of his stoner owner. Who are you? Desmond asked. We're the guards to the cave. We guard the cave, said the high guy. The people live under this cave. Humans, grassmen, lizardmen, they all live down here, said the other guy. Perfect, Chadwick said, squirming in his web bindings. We were looking for some people to chill out with. You see, the Martian Empire is searching for us, and we need a place to lay low for a bit. Perfect, said the guard, who wasn't stoned. Come with us. After cutting the web off Chadwick, Desmond, Hawking, the velociraptor, the giant spider, and the guards trotted back into the cave and walked down a long tunnel that extended deeper into the cave. That's weird. That's a weird sentence. The guard that wasn't stoned clapped his hands twice, and the cave was immediately illuminated by glowy mushrooms that hung from the walls. Just the glowy mushroom. Yep. He picked one up off the cave walls and ate it. Man, I am so high right now, dude. Both guards, being incredibly altered at this point, started talking to each other on the trip down about life on other planets and outer space and shit. Desmond used his plasma machete as a torch and continued down the tunnel. The cave opened up, revealing a wide-open room, well lit with glowy stones, glowy shrooms, torches, and oil lamps. A green-skinned man with an elongated face, sharp teeth, claws, a tail, and pretty much an alligator with anthropomorphic features would be an easier way to describe him, sat there. He was sitting on a throne, accompanied by other humanoid creatures of all sizes, short, thin, tall, and burly, some leafy, some reptilian, and some straight-up boring all humans. The Gatorman leered at his guests. Who are you? Desmond switched off his plasma machete and stepped forward. I am Desmond. My home planet was destroyed, and I don't know why. The Martian Empire placed a bounty on me and my friends here, so we're looking for a place to lay low for a while. We hate the Martians, the vegetarians, and we don't trust vegetarians, especially the grassmen. They really don't trust vegetarians. We go out and we hunt for food like real men. If it can't run or defend itself, we don't eat it. Who is your friend? Chadwick stepped forward. I am Chadwick, mercenary and pilot of the Wham-Ass. My home planet was destroyed, and I definitely didn't have anything to do with it. Also, I am a worm exterminator, so if you got any worm problems... And who is the raptor? Hawking cawed. He's mine, Desmond said. You may stay with us if you must, but we have one request. The Gator Man extended the middle of 3 fingers. One request. He shook it around. Are you flipping us off? Chadwick asked. I do not know the meaning of this accusation. The lizardman turned his palm toward himself and did the same with the other hand, flipping them double birds, shaking them around like a flock. He purred.
That's good. A flock.
Yeah, just shaking them around like a flock, flipping them double birds. He put his birds down. There's a gigantosaurus roaming about upstairs, and I mean a big-ass one, about as big as a motherfucking titanosaurus. We would typically have our shining superstar soldier do the job for us, but since he's been taken away to a Martian jail cell on Mercury, we have no means to defend off such a threat. Since you guys seem to have technology on your side, you got, like, a plasma rifle and a plasma machete on you, I say, why don't you give it a shot? Only then will you earn our trust. Chad grabbed his rifle. Okay. Desmond nodded. Before you go, the lizardman said, I'd like you to bring along a buddy of mine. His name's Lockwood. He's a grassman. and he hates vegetarians as much as the rest of us. Lockwood stepped forward. He was a wooden man, wearing a suit, a top hat, white gloves, and shiny shoes. It is an honor to meet you. I hope with our combined efforts we can take on this foe once and for all. The guards, standing in the corner the entire time, started giggling. Guards, take them up to the surface and assist them in the slaying of the beast. All right, sir, one stoned guard said. Dude, we are so going to die. He laughed as he led the party back up the tunnel again.
Yeah, it's good to be positive, you know.
Yep. Dude, we are so going to die. The guards munch let me take a drink here. Jesus Christ.
That's sweet tea. Get you some. That's very nice to hear. Just that crunching.
Yeah, crunch, 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 crunch. The guards munched on mercury juana and glowing shrooms the whole way up. Lockwood cringed as they ate the fungus and plant matter. Are you okay? Desmond asked. Lockwood shrugged. Us grassmen don't very much like the consumption of our brothers and sisters. I understand the circle of life and that, but when people do it for entertainment purposes, it really ruffles my leaves. But this is a fungus, not a plant, the shroom guy said.
Looks like Ryan taught you. Or...
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it was a little... This was a reference. The shrooms guy said, is what it says. Same thing, Lockwood replied. The party exited the cave. Desmond, Chadwick, Hawking, Lockwood, and the intoxicated guards. They marched forward into the clearing where the Gigantosaurus slept. We'll get him while he's sleeping, a guard said, and the Gigantosaurus awoke and ate the Mercury Juana stoned guard. Fuck damn it, the shrooms guy shouted, and he too was eaten immediately. Those idiots, Lockwood cried. Desmond ran towards the dinosaur, wielding his plasma machete. Hawking grabbed his attention. Hawking flew towards the beast, flapping its wings. The Gigantosaurus snapped its mighty jaws and roared, attempting to eat the large bird of prey, but it dodged every chomp. Chadwick fired at his belly with his plasma rifle, creating many burnt craters in its flesh. The dino roared, while Desmond darted toward it. Lockwood removed his glove and pressed his fingers into the soil. A series of vines whipped up out of the ground and grabbed the dinosaur's legs. But plant matter was not strong enough to contain the dinosaur's might. It snapped the vines with its slowed strides as it continued toward Chadwick, who was peppering it in a flurry of red bolts, army crawling away from it. The vines slowed it down, but the dinosaur broke them one by one, nearing the mercenary. Hawking managed to temporarily distract it by scratching and pecking at its face, just as Desmond made it to the monster's tail. He leapt onto it and crawled his way up its spine. Lockwood continued to attempt to contain the monster, but it only slowed it down. Chadwick continued to fire at the monster's chest as it got closer and closer, and okay, it was getting a little too close. He stood up and fired while running backwards, but this only excited the dinosaur as he trudged... I spit all over the screen. As he trudged through the ever-replenishing vegetation. It began to move faster and faster towards Chadwick. Desmond now was at the monster's neck, and with a few more crawls, he made it to the top of the beast's head. His machete was enveloped in plasma as he switched it on, and he drove it right into the top of the reptilian beast's head. He shrieked, and leapt off the head and onto the back of his avian friend. The monster let out a pained roar, and after a few weak steps, fell straight to the ground. My God, I can't believe we've done it, Lockwood stammered. Desmond, on the back of his Space Eagle, landed beside him. That was the most epic thing I've ever done, Hawking crowed. That was awesome, Lockwood said. They looked around. Where's Chadwick? He was running for his life, cursing and yelling, unaware that the Gigantosaurus was dead now. Well, said the Gator Man, who apparently was watching them from behind a tree the entire time, I see you have proven yourselves to be able warriors. We shall let you stay with us for a time, so long as you do any other mission we have for you. We hope eventually, with your help, we can overthrow the Martian Empire and restore peace to the solar system. I guess, Desmond said. Hawking crowed. Lockwood nodded, and Chadwick shouted in the distance. My name is Allison. Pleased to have you with us. That's it. It's the whole story.
Now, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Gator Man, You mentioned that their best warrior was in a Martian prison on Mercury.
Next story.
Well, I was going to say, do the Martians have control of Mercury, or is it like a Martian embassy on Mercury?
Mercury is not a civilization. It's too close to the sun for people to live on. So they've just got a few jail cells there. It's like Australia, kind of.
So they send people there to essentially rot to death.
Pretty much, yes.
Well, not rot, but, boil to death.
Yeah, like getting thirsty and stuff.
I'm so thirsty.
Yeah, but but he said he's his superstar, the most powerful superstar soldier in the galaxy or whatever, or solar system, whatever. I don't know. I know about this character, and he's going to be implemented in the next story. That's kind of the next mission that I have in mind. Perhaps that'll be the next story. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, no, it's nice to set yourself up with some possibilities. Well, that was good, Phil.
Yeah.
I'm
ready to talk about the next next character that
that story was well worth the wait of not recording yesterday.
I was busy yesterday. It wasn't that I was working on my story yesterday. It's just I had family over and stuff. I didn't know.
I wanted to record at like 6 o'clock today, Phil. I wanted to get it done. I was excited to hear your beautiful tales of science and dinosaurs and astrology.
Astrology, yes. I'm satisfied with this one. I think it's better than my last one.
Yeah.
Not as good as my first one. Maybe better, because it has dinosaurs in it.
Well, Phil, I was listening to yours, and I find it kind of strange. There's some similarities between your story and my story. Not like direct similarities, but I was like, that's kind of like a thing that happened in the story I wrote.
Oh, cool. You know, when he was climbing up the back of the Tyrannosaurus, I was totally thinking of Shadow of the Colossus.
I have some Shadow of the Colossus in my story, a little bit.
Whoa, yeah, we played Shadow of the Colossus recently. We beat it.
Well, Phil.
But you were there for most of it.
I brought it for him. I was the...
You were the sidekick. I
was the enabler. I enabled Phil to play the game.
You gave me advice. You told me, what if you did this and stuff?
Like, stop trying to climb that wall. That's not the way to get there. You gotta quit jumping on those rocks. And you're like, I'll just try one more time.
Oh, yeah, I remember
one more
that.
time.
Yeah, finding the Colossus was a challenge for me. You knew what to do. But anyway.
Well, I think we'll take a little break here, and then we'll come back for my story. So hold on to your butts. You like that little dinosaur reference, Phil?
Bum 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 bum. We have so bad Skype lag.
Yeah, I know you were like... Your mouth would like slow down on the words. I'd still heard you fine. And then like you'd start picking up speed until you synced back up again. And then you'd on behind. And then...
That's my favorite thing about Skype.
Yeah, but I mean the audio was... salvageable. Not bad enough for us to like have to stop recording.
Oh. That's sad. I wish it would be perfect.
Yeah. Well, one of these days. Bang. Zoom. Straight to the moon? Honeymooners. Yes.
I'm sorry?
We're making all the references.
Watch
the Honeymooners, Phil? It was a sitcom from the 50s?
Well, I'm glad I haven't seen it.
Jackie Gleason in it?
I'm ready for your story, Truman.
No. Okay. Phil, you never told us the story title. What was the title of your story? Make one up.
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Let me tell you something about the dinosaurs thing. I say that all the time. It was in my baby video that Truman hasn't seen yet.
Yep.
Allison's getting Allison's my sister, by the way.
Cat's out of the bag. Should I say mouse? That mouse is out of the bag.
Ghost Mouse.
Yeah.
Ghost Mouse gets she's getting presents because her birthday. It's her birthday or whatever. And I'm just clutching at like all the presents that she has laid out on the table. And I say, presents? My presents? And they're like, no, it's not your birthday. And then Allison like unwraps one of them and it's like a dinosaur puzzle. And I clutch it and I just say, dinosaurs! And so I've been saying that ever since because dinosaurs are awesome. It's just
the one I always say is down here in the chair.
It's a baby video of him and his.
No, it's actually my sister. Yeah.
His sister's
coloring in a chair.
Just saying that. Anyway, so little info on our baby videos that we haven't shown each other.
A plot twist. They're adorable. I wore a Superman cape.
I just had crazy curly hair.
Oh, and I was gonna say, talking about birthday, it's my granny's birthday yesterday. She's not gonna hear this, but happy birthday, Granny.
It's your birthday in 3 days.
Whoa!
But it will have been your birthday by the time this is recorded.
Yeah, it's my birthday 11 days ago.
What? That's a bit long.
2 weeks? No, 1 week.
1 week.
3 days ago.
Friday. Is it coming out on Friday?
Yeah, it comes out Friday. 2 days ago.
Who knows? Days ago.
It happened.
A couple days, some few days ago. Well, let's start the story, Truman. Let's listen to what you have written. Tell me your homework. Give me your homework.
Tell me your
Read it to the class.
All right, I've actually written a story for my homework entitled "Eye of the Raven." What are you eating? You're always eating. Oh, Oreo. Not Oreos. Reese's. Why did I say Oreos?
Oh, no. These are freaking great.
Yeah, pretty good. I
how just like last time, I'm just like raising it up to the camera and just...
I prefer Reese's Sticks over Reese's Cups. By the way, they're like delicious peanut butter Kit Kats. They're awesome. But anyway, Eye of the Raven. This is my story. So here we go.
Eye of the Raven. Sorry. Go on. I'm sorry, Truman. Hold on. Go on.
This episode is also brought to you by Reese's. Get you some.
And Dad's tea. Dad's iced tea.
Yeah, get you some. It's so relaxing. Do you remember all those things your Sunday school teacher told you about? Well, you can find all of that and more at Knife Stab Tavern. You could find people gambling, grambling, drinking, that game where you try as fast as you can to stab between your fingers with a knife, and some people are even cussing.
Even cussing, Truman?
Even cussing. It's a bad place, bad part of town. The floors were dirty, and the food was dirtier. A small person walked toward the bar. Braun, the huge barbarian, was puzzled by the sight of the frail-looking figure. "1 tomato juice, bub," said the cloaked man. Braun towered behind the bar. He was at least 4 feet taller than the tiny person. "You want to run that by me again?" he chuckled. "Listen." The person threw off the hood of his cloak. "Give me 1 tomato juice. Without ice."
Oh, shoot!
Braun could finally see the bluish tint of the figure's face. He deduced that the man must actually be an elf. It's not a man at all, actually, see? Taken slightly aback by the fact that no one had ever ordered anything other than beer, grog, ale, or mead, Braun surveyed what small selection of beverages he had behind the bar. "You ain't gonna find any of them vegetables in here, pal. How about a beer instead?"
Vegetables, I don't Vegetarians, I don't trust them.
So, it's no vegetables in mine.
Right.
Similarity.
Venus and this bar are the place of men.
Silence fell between the hulking barbarian and the small elf. I'll pass, finally said the elf. Anything else I can help you with? Even though Braun looked really gruff and tough and rough and buff and stuff.
Don't you steal my joke!
I told you that was going in.
Okay.
Rough and tough and buff and stuff. He was actually a fairly considerate tavern owner. I'm looking for information. Old information. I was told that someone in this stinkhole could supply me with some answers.
Oh, jeez.
The elf surveyed the dank tavern. But I'm starting to think I may be in the wrong place. Old information. Hey, Munch! A very inebriated orc sitting at the end of the bar slowly looked toward the two.
I'm sorry, what was that name?
Munch.
Okay, it cut out for a second.
It's Munch the orc.
Okay.
Super drunk.
Alright.
Is old Swam the storyteller here tonight? The orc struggled to keep his head upright. But eventually gravity won. With a painful-sounding thud, the orc fell off the bar stool, slamming his face on the countertop in the process.
That sucks.
Sitting directly behind the orc's former place at the bar was an ancient man with a long white beard. He smiled and waved a bony hand at Braun. Yep, there he is. If it weren't for his leathery, wrinkled skin, you could swear old Swam was a little kid. His fingers were greasy from the manicore shakes he was eating. Shanks, not shakes.
Yeah, manicore shakes.
Yum.
Smoothie.
He was humming little songs as he drank his stein of mead, and his short legs swung happily as he sat in the booth.
Aw.
Looks like an old friend to see old Swam. Braun, this meat is delicious. My compliments to the chef. Trying to do a kind of an old man redneck.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Tried to make him not bongo.
Yeah, I can tell.
Okay. Mind if I sit down? My name is... Don't tell me! I bet you I can figure it out myself. And I'll start with the obvious. Your blue skin means you're an elf. I also noticed the brooch on your cloak has a symbol of the Elven Royal Crest. Royalty? But you can't be Singel the Elven King, because he died in the Great War in the Silken Valley 480 years ago. But you look enough like him for me to believe that you're his son, Riven Windsong, the Elven Prince. How do you do? Swam thrust out his greasy mitts. Riven lightly high-fived the old storyteller. That's amazing. Riven slid into the booth across from the man. Your knowledge of Ravenhelm is as great as what people say. But what's a man like yourself doing in such a nasty place? You see, my boy, the alcohol is cheap, the meat is good, and Braun over there has a wife that could make any man leave his current, less attractive wife.
Whoa.
The old man winked at an extremely attractive woman hanging off of the arm of the massive bartender. She scoffed and rolled her eyes. Swam cackled with excitement. Yeah. Okay, listen, sir. Don't call me sir. Just call me Swam. Swam. Gotta get that nice.
Yeah, drink that water. You know what would be better to clear your voices? Dad's homemade iced tea. Get you some.
Swam, I need information. On my father's deathbed, he gave me just a scrap of information about a treasure of unlimited power. I was merely a child at the time, but I remember him telling me to search for the Eye of the Raven. At the sound of those words, the entire bar momentarily turned an ear toward Riven. I want to finally seize that gem. I need all your information about it, Riven whispered. Swam shimmied to the edge of the booth and stood up. On the seat was a large, ancient book he had been sitting on. Picking it up, Swam shimmied back into the booth. His feet now touched the floor as he sat. Let me just check my notes. Thumbing through the yellowed pages of the book, Swam began perusing his notes. The Raven. Okie dokie, here it is. Ryven tried to read the words, but old Swim the storyteller did not excel in penmanship. As I thought, high above Mount Windwhistle is a door, and within that door is a cave, and within that cave is a statue of a raven. There lies the gem. Swim smiled at the elf. That's all I wrote on the subject. Thank you, Swim. The entire Elven royal court thanks you. Is there any way I can do to repay you? Is what I wrote. Is there anything I can do to repay you? Want to try to get Bron's wife to give me a kiss? The old man smiled. I'll try. Old Swim watched as the small elf walked to the bar, asked the maiden a question, was promptly slapped right in his face, and was thrown out of the bar by Bron. From the mud puddle outside the bar, Ryven heard the laugh of old Swim, followed by the sound of yet another slap to the face. Thanks to some convenient storytelling, Ryven finally reached the summit of Mount Windwhistle a month later. Like that storytelling, Phil? He's there.
Some months later, this happens.
There's probably a really cool montage or something.
I do that. Yeah, I do that a lot.
Yeah, you can see it.
I can understand.
Yeah. Dirty and sore.
Waste time. This is just a simple story. Go on.
I'm like 3 of 10 pages right now.
There you go.
Yeah, so I gotta get this going.
Yep.
Dirty and sore, he stood at the snowy summit. Amongst the crags and stones, Ryven noticed something wooden ahead of him. It couldn't be a tree. It looked more like... A door? Ryven asked aloud. This looks like a huge mahogany door. He brushed off the ice and snow. A golden knob gleamed in the light. There was a large cracking sound as Ryven touched the knob. Stop there, elfin scum! The door sprung to life. It had a big Disney-style mouth and eyes, and the doorknob was its nose.
Whoa!
You get them grimy blue hands off my knob! Whoa, man, this door can talk. I can do a lot more than that. The door spat at Ryven. The sticky mucus smelled like tree sap.
Ew.
Aw, sick! Why are you being such a jerk? You're just a door. A magic door, kid! And this magic door is between you and the tasty treasure held within the cave.
Tasty?
Yeah, it's tasty treasure.
Alright.
The door scoffed as he sat smugly on his hinges. So, do I need to answer a riddle or say some magic words or something to get in there? You're kind of keeping me from doing important hero stuff. Ryven was growing impatient with the rude lumber. There's nothing you can do to get in here. Not a thing. Even if you were to answer 1,000 riddles or say 1,000,000 magic words, I still wouldn't let you in. You know, you elves think you're so high and mighty. You think you can just walk in wherever you please. Well, this door is standing up for himself. No, elf, you can't come in.
Wow.
Yeah. Ryven grabbed the door's nose knob and turned it. Heard the lock clunk, and he slowly pushed the door open. Shit! Well, you win this round, elf. The door slammed himself shut behind Ryven as he walked in. Moral of that mini-story, if you're just a door, there's nothing... He's just a door. I can't do anything.
You couldn't lock him in? Lock him out? Nope. Well, alright then.
Yeah. The cave was super spooky. There were rats running everywhere, and in the corner was a pile of human, orc, goblin, and elf skeletons.
Are those all the races?
Some of them. It was like some sort of skeleton party over there.
Wow.
Ryven walked quietly and kept an arrow notched on the string of his bow. He could make out the sound of 2 deep voices singing. Let me prepare for this little song I wrote right here.
Alright.
Come on over and have a seat. We've got lots of food to eat. This beer and ale is a tasty treat, but nothing tastes better than elven meat.
Oh shit.
A crackling fire was lit on the end of the large cavernous room. 2 huge shadows were cast onto the floor and walls. Ryven moved slowly and silently as he hugged a wall.
Give me a piece of that. You already had your share. I killed this giant, so I get the last piece.
Oh, jeez.
You killed him. We both killed him. You'd be a blood stain in the snow if you faced that giant by yourself. You held his legs, but I bashed him with that rock. I killed him.
The giant beast took a bite out of a huge severed forearm.
You bastard, I'll kill you.
Raiden inched forward as they wrestled over the last scraps of a giant's corpse. From the distance, Raiden could finally make out what the hulking shapes actually were. 2 Yeti men. 2 big Yeti men. Let me get a drink, because we're having a special guest here.
What are Yeti men?
Well, let Bongo the Wise shed some Ravenhelm knowledge for you.
Alright.
Yeti men are giant humanoid monsters who live at the snowy peaks of Ravenhelm's mountains. They are 70% Yeti, 20% man, and 10% super gorilla.
Whoa.
They have long, shaggy, dirty white hair covering almost the entirety of their bodies. Towering over normal men, Yeti men are usually 20 feet tall. They like meat and killing things for their meat. All right, everybody say thanks, Bongo.
Thanks, Bongo.
All right. As the Yeti men tumbled and wrestled, Raiden held his breath. He wanted to sneak by without being seen. Watching the brawl instead of his feet, Raiden tripped over a discarded bone. Stumbling forward, Raiden's notched arrow was let loose. It flew towards the 2 monsters. Catching the giant's hand, the arrow pegged it to the wall. In any other circumstance, the twanging sound of the arrow made as it pierced the wall would have been extremely pleasant. But to Raiden, it was a horrifying sound. Still arm in arm on the floor, both Yeti men turned to see the frightened elf.
Did you shoot that arrow?
One Yeti man rumbled. No. It was that guy. Raiden pointed at the second Yeti man.
Grundle, how dare you? I'll kill you. Kill me, kill that elf. He clearly did it.
Both Yeti men fumbled over each other as they both tried to stand. Raiden ran quickly toward the door. He had a silver ring that gave him a +3 agility boost. The Yeti men were lumbering toward him as he finally reached the door. Raiden struggled with the handle, but it wouldn't open. Oh, look like Mr. Pointy Ear wants out of the cave now. Well, too bad, punk. You wanted in so bad. Shut up. You're just a door. Open up, damn it. Once again, the door scoffed as Raiden was trapped with the 2 angry colossi.
Grab him, Bogan.
But Raiden was too fast for the Yeti-men. He slipped through their fat fingers and sprinted back toward the center of the room. Grundle was waiting for him with a huge femur of the dead giant. Scraps of meat and tendon were still clinging to it. Raiden serpentined around the room, narrowly dodging the blows of the weapon. He fired arrow after arrow at the Yeti-men, but at the speed he was running, none of them hit their intended target. Bogan was growing tired of the tiny elf's antics.
I'm tired of this.
Grabbing a large stalactite from the ceiling, Bogan broke it off to use as a club. Both Yeti-men were now swinging blindly at the floor, and smoke filled the room. Little did they know Raiden was cowering in the corner, hoping not to be seen. The Yeti-men didn't see him. With a misplaced...
Well.
Yeah, well, they didn't.
There you go.
With a misplaced blow, Grundle hit Bogan in the shin. Bogan yelled out in pain.
Ow, watch it.
Said Bogan. Angrily, he smashed Grundle's foot with his stalactite club.
You did that on purpose. Of course I did.
And with that, the 2 Yeti-men were once again fighting amongst themselves. The brawl escalated. Exponentially. That was a hard little forward sentence.
Escalated exponentially.
There was eye gouging. There was kidney punching. A knee collided with Bogan's stomach, knocking all the air out of him. Bogan stumbled back, wheezing.
You're gonna pay for that, Grundle.
He coughed. Standing at the other side of the room, Grundle stood stoic. He used his furry arms to wipe blood from his lip, cheek, and eye area.
What do you say we finish this once and for all?
Grundle chuckled. The bleeding hadn't stopped. Grundle clutched his bone club and lifted into a battered stance. Bogan mirrored him on the other side of the room. His knuckles were white as he held the stalactite. The cave fell silent. Raiden held his breath, waiting for the tension of the room to break. Roaring, both beasts sprinted toward each other. The pebbles on the ground shook as the lumbering footsteps rumbled. As the distance between Grundle and Bogan shrank, I had a page turn there and it threw me off.
Oh.
Both Yeti-men swung their blunt weapons. Crack! Ryven knew the sound he heard was that of Yeti-men's skulls fracturing. Like two giant oak trees, the Yeti-men fell to the ground. Dust filled the air as their bodies slammed against the cave's floor. Wow. That was easy.
Yeah.
Ryven stood up. Dusting the dirt from his cloak, he surveyed the room. I walked in here thinking, man, there's going to be some big monsters that I'm going to have to fight. He walked around the room, picking up any arrows that didn't break in the scuffle with the Yeti-men. Who would have thought that they'd be dumb enough to knock themselves out? Huh. After looting the corpses, Ryven pushed deeper into the cave. Let me get a sip of water.
Sip of water. Get you some.
Need it. Ugh. Right. It grew dark as Ryven continued to walk. He heard chattering, and what he thought was the sound of a theremin and a xylophone playing a spooky duet. Even with his elven eyes, Ryven couldn't see anything in front of him. He took an arrow out of his quiver, summoning a minor flame spell, actually. He lit the head of the arrow. Well, I guess this will have to do since there's no scrap wood in here. With his new torch, or with that in quotes. Y'all can't see my air quotes, but Phil can.
Yeah, he's moving his index and middle fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Quoting them.
With this new torch, Ryman could finally see the large room he was standing in. Unlike the room at the entrance of the cave, this area had ornate and detailed art. Ancient carvings of warriors and wizards covered the walls and pillars in the room. At the far end of the room was the most superior of all the pillars. Ryven jogged forward to see it. An old stone staircase wrapped it. Without hesitation, the elf began his climb, but it ended faster than he had hoped. A rock slipped and the majority of the stairs crumbled to the floor. I knew it couldn't be that easy, Ryven coughed as he laid in the pile of rubble. After a few moments to survey the room, he decided that the only way to get to the top was to just elf man up and climb the pillar.
Oh.
Throwing his bow over his shoulder, Ryven gave himself some space. Taking a running start, he leapt for an exposed stone. Dangling from his handheld, Ryven looked toward his next step. Slowly but determined, he made his way up to the front of the structure.
Oh, this climbing.
It's
like
Shadow of the Colossus right here.
Yeah, I know.
His hands finally found the top of the pillar. Pulling himself onto the ledge, his face was met with that of a large stone statue. Jiminy Jaminy! His hands nearly slipped with the surprise of seeing a huge, screaming bird's face. A bird? Ryven pulled himself onto the ledge. Lighting another arrow with his magic, he examined the old statue. Not just a bird, a raven. The statue was that of a huge raven. Its stone wings were outstretched, and its talons were gripping the skulls of orcs and trolls. Although completely made of stone, Ryven marveled at how realistic and frighteningly large the figure was. Each and every feather was painstakingly carved into the stone. God, the wings on this thing must be 15 feet long, each. The elf whistled in awe. That was a bad one. Let me do it again then. Surveying the bird, his eyes were drawn back to the head. Within the bird's eye sockets were blood-red rubies. These can't be the gems I'm looking for. They're so small and insignificant. Ryven waved his torch around to survey the room. Nothing but stone carvings and a couple of iron fire pits could be seen. But then again, they are the only gem-like things in this whole place. That was a weird way I typed that.
What did you say?
They are the only things gem-like in this whole place. I guess it's not that weird.
Yeah.
With a shrug, Ryven reached his hand toward the left ruby eye of the large statue. He paused. Something about the gem felt different to Ryven. He spent his childhood in a palace full of gems and treasures, so he knew gems. These rubies felt different, ancient and mystical. He brought his torch closer to the eye. As the flame came closer to the ruby, a tiny glimmer of light lit deep within it. Yep, there's definitely some kind of magic in these rubies. maybe they are what I'm looking for. Do you have a question? Kind of perked up? Okay. He tried to pry them free with his hands, then the tip of one of his arrows, then with the blade of his knife. He sat down on the ground defeated. What's an elf got to do to get his hands on some magic gems? Sitting on the edge of the pillar, his feet dangled over the edge. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw movement. Who goes there? Actually, scratch that. Unless you know how to get some magic gems out of an ancient statue, I don't care. He saw the movement again. This time he jumped to his feet. I'm serious. I don't want to play any games. Ryven waved his torch. Barely noticeable in the distance, the elf saw another light source. He waved his torch again, and once again the light could be seen in the distance. It was almost like it was mirroring his movement. In fact, that's exactly what was happening. The walls are reflective? Why? What's the point? The cogs in the elf's head began to chug. Slowly he started piecing everything together. Fire pits, reflective walls. This place was just a big puzzle. Really? I can't believe it. Ryven notched 2 arrows on his bowstring. Were the ancient ones so bored that they just built giant, ornate puzzle rooms? He used the last of his mana to once again conjure a minor flame spell to light the arrow's tips. It's just so stupid when you think about how those old guys just spent so much time building this puzzle when the solution is so obvious. Let me take a sip here.
This is like Legend of Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
Zelda always, they're just all the dungeons, puzzles you gotta solve.
With extreme accuracy, Ryven let loose his arrows. They diverged in the air, and each of them landed in a fire pit. Within a few seconds, the fires were crackling away. Shafts of light bounced around the room. Within moments, the beams landed on the eyes of the statue. The gems began to glow. A rumbling sound resonated around the room. Ryven timidly took a few steps away from the statue. It shook and cracked as the light penetrated its eyes. With a crunch, the talons of the statue crushed the skulls it held. With a marvelous flourish of its wings, the stone completely crumbled to the ground. The once stone statue is now replaced by an enormous, living raven. Whoa. I am Thorn Gould the First. Ryven knew the raven spoke, but the voice sounded like it came from within his own mind. The bird's feathers were dark as night, dark as the cosmos and the universe itself. Its blood-red eyes pierced into Ryven's soul.
Astrology.
Yeah, we just talk about space, right? Yeah. The blood-red eyes pierced into Ryven's soul, and he was drawn to the bird. Slowly, he reached a hand out. The raven didn't move at all. Finally, the elf's hand rested on the smooth feathers. Blackness was drawn out of the bird's feathers and into Ryven's arm. His veins pulsed with mystic darkness.
Yep. Shadow of the Colossus.
I actually didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Yep, that one is a thing.
Yep.
Ryven turned to look at the small elf directly in the eyes. We are one, Raven Master. Ryven nodded slowly. He felt like he was dreaming. Without breaking eye contact, Ryven reached down and pinched his leg. It hurt, and that meant that it was actually happening.
Ooh.
What now, Thorn Gould? The raven looked down at its new master. It squatted with its back toward the elf. Without hesitation, Ryven climbed onto his steed's back. Once he was situated, the raven looked toward the ceiling. You think it's about time for us to get out of here? Ryven asked. Internally, he knew that the bird agreed. Thorn Gould released a thunderous caw. Caw!
Yeah.
The concussion of the call was so loud that it blew a hole in the ceiling. Rocks crumbled and fell to the floor. Thorn Gould flourished his wings and flew out of the new hole in the summit of the mountain. The two flew out into the night and were silhouetted by the full moon.
Ooh.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Last one right there. So see, Phil, my story had a big bird. Your story had a big bird. You said something like, "You sick?" I just did the same thing. It's just some similarities in our story, Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
Did you like that story? Pretty good.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, that was it. Flew out into the night. And it was awesome.
What?
That was it. Found the bird.
What about the eye? The eye of...
Yeah, you light the eye up. And then the treasure of unlimited power was Thorngould the First, Phil.
Oh.
Little lore for you. Thorngould created the world, Phil.
Oh, I did not know that.
Well, I mean, Bongo didn't show up at all to tell you these things. He was the first, Phil. He was the first one. First thing.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, maybe elaborate on that a little bit.
Bird, yeah. Bird created the universe.
Mm-hmm. That's
a
called Ravenhelm.
Is he a space eagle?
No. It's a mystic, ancient god eagle.
Oh.
Raven. It's not an eagle.
I haven't specified what color feathers Hawking has. Maybe it's black. Who knows?
I was gonna say something like his feathers were like ethereal and like weird, but I didn't put that in.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That was a good story.
Oh, good. Do you like how I built up those Yeti men and then just didn't do anything with them?
Yeah.
I was writing and I was like, oh crap, how am I gonna...
Yeah. I know that feeling.
So I writ right in there that they fight and argue a bunch, so they just took care of themselves.
When I had the Gigantosaurus in my story, I was like, okay, so how are they gonna... I was like, I'll just do one of those, like, Avengers style, or I don't know if it's Avengers style, but like everybody does their power just over and over and over again until they eventually do a man or whatever.
And you killed it Shadow of the Colossus style.
Yep, and the main, Desmond's Shadow of the Colossus, man, I guess. But everybody else just did what they could, and they all teamed up. Guards eaten immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Just like your Yetis just killed each other immediately.
Yeah. Did you get my reference on their name? At least one of their names?
Grindel,
yeah. I was like, I gotta make them sound evil, I guess.
What was the other one again?
Bogan. That was
Bogan.
nothing.
Yeah, that one was just whatever.
I think Bogan is the slightly stupider of the two of them. I think that's how I wrote it.
You did that on purpose. Yep.
Yeah, of course I did.
Oh, that was pretty good.
So yeah. So Phil, you better start writing your next story so you can postpone it and get it nice and good.
Yeah, nice and good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one I wasn't really behind schedule. I was pretty much planning for this to happen.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. I knew we were going to record tonight. I thought we were going to record like 4 hours later than we actually did. But I had already... Well, I was just wrapping up mine when you were like, we're recording now. And I was like, oh, okay.
Well, man, I've got class tomorrow. I can't be up all night.
I didn't know that.
All right, so Phil, we got an email this week. Do you want to discuss it now, or you want to, save it until we got a little bit more time?
How much time do we have right now?
Well, we've been recording for at least an hour.
I say...
Maybe an hour 15. I don't know. I can't read the future. I don't know how this is going to turn out. But we definitely got an email from Hayden. Hey, Hayden. We got your email. I just think, we should probably save this till next week so we can actually put some effort into actually discussing Hayden's thoughts.
Now that you brought it up, we've got no choice but to read it.
Well, no, we can just acknowledge, hey, Hayden, we got your email, but we're not going to just, throw it in real quick at the last. Just throw it in. No, we're going to, we can sit down and actually talk about it.
We'll save it for next time.
That's how much we care. We care enough that we're going to,
But we did get your email, and we will read it.
And it is very well worded. Very well worded. And I think your opinions are going to be something worth discussing more than 5 minutes at the end of this episode.
The next time on Chatmen.
Bum bum.
Ba-da-ba!
It's good.
Oh, two things.
Yeah.
When I said get out of here, get that part when I was when Truman said, oh, and you knew what I was referencing. That was a video on YouTube that recently got taken down.
Yeah.
It was based on some movie. I don't know, but
it's a scene from a movie about growth. It's a sci-fi horror about growth hormones.
Yeah, but it's just a hilarious scene, and it's just they say, what was his name? Bobby, I'd like you to meet Dr. Something, and I'd like you to get the fuck out of here. And it's just a little kid about the size of a freaking
He's
8 feet
like
tall.
10 feet tall in his jammies.
Yep, just keep saying get out of here, and it was just confusing and hilarious that I just decided to throw it in my story, but I meant to take that out.
I got the reference, Phil. I thank you for your reference.
Thank you.
And I feel sad that we can't link the video in the comments, because that video's not on YouTube anymore.
I know. It's terribly sad. And the butt up buh thing, I don't know. I just now said it.
Yeah.
We mentioned when we were watching the Wolverine. We recently hung out. We played Shadow of the Colossus. We watched a few movies. One of them was the Wolverine. It was all right.
Yeah.
I didn't get what was happening because I hadn't seen the other X-Men movies.
It was fine. You didn't need to see the other ones.
Okay.
You just weren't paying enough attention.
We kept talking about Jean. I don't know who Jean is.
Oh, yeah, Phoenix. Jean
Grey. So anyway, or what happened to her. But he when he said, "Who are you? What are you?" or something, he says, "The Wolverine." We said there has to be there should be a universal like theme or something that happens every time somebody says the title of their movie.
Yeah.
And
I've always thought like the character should have to look the camera directly in the eye, and there should be a sound effect that plays so we, the audience, understand that it is the title of the movie.
Right, and they should never advertise their movie with the title, just what it looks like, just by the movie poster. No words, no credits, nothing, just movie poster, see this movie. And then when you watch it, you're wondering, I wonder what this movie's going to be called. And when they look at the screen, directly at the camera, and they will say the title of the movie at some point in every movie, and this is the noise that happens. Ba-da-ba!
And then the title flashes on the screen.
That's right. And then it goes back to the rest of the movies like nothing happens.
My thought is, I always find it, like I hear characters saying the title of the movie, or, whatever, and I'm always like, come on guys, you can just write that in. But I was like, if you're going to go ahead and write that in the script, why not just run with it and make it a thing?
Yeah.
Let the audience know that you have written the title of the movie in the script of the movie.
Yes. And leave it a surprise so that once it happens, the audience will be like, oh, that's the title. And they'll be guessing before they walk into the movie theaters. What do you think this movie's going to be titled? Like, walk in there. That'd be just a thing. So, Truman, every time we make a movie, we make movies.
Every time.
Every time we make a movie, this is what we're going to do. Just so you know. Maybe we should start doing that to our stories as well.
Maybe.
Alright. Well, that's all I have to say about that.
Yep. Alright, so, Hayden, we promise we've got your email. We are going to discuss it on...
Just calm down.
On the next... I know you're just sitting in that chair, so angry. You're just seething. You're grinding your teeth. You're just like, oh, let me tell you, these Chatmen, they're breaking their promise. Right. No.
He also didn't like the fact that I didn't like Dread.
Oh, yeah.
But he didn't send us an email about it.
I liked it. It was alright.
Anyway.
But
you send us an email, anybody.
Yeah, send us an email, and we'll postpone it a week, and then we'll discuss it.
Yeah, so there you go. Bye.
I guess that's it. Alright, see you guys. Wait, we didn't do all our
Facebook, YouTube, email,
yes, Facebook,
do it.
YouTube,
Bye.
ChatmenShow@gmail.com. That's it. We're actually done this time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.